So fucking after the insensitive cancel part there, have you guys watched Watchmen at all? Like I'm 6 episodes in.
Are you asking us who watches the Watchmen?
Well, yeah, watches the Watchmen.
That's a quote from the comic book. Who watches the Watchmen?
So, I mean, you guys got me talking about it, but I'm saying like I'm only 6 episodes in. Like, you guys finished it already?
I watched it when it first came out. Like I was watching that shit every week whenever those episodes dropped. That's one of my favorite like HBO series that they've done so far.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say I'm a pretty big fan of the Watchmen, the original comic book, and I liked the movie that came out it was like 12 years ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It dropped in like 2009. Really good fucking movie. Yeah, when the show came out, I was excited about it, and I watched the first 2 episodes as it was coming out. And I don't know what the fuck happened. I fell off. I didn't watch it. And then last week we were talking, and the Watchmen came up, and I don't know. Then I was like, fuck it. I basically started from scratch. I watched all 9 episodes, like Friday and Saturday, pretty much. And the show's fucking incredible.
Yeah, the first 2
I'm with Mateo is it's in my top HBO shows.
Big facts.
The first 2 episodes were fucking weird for me. I didn't know what the hell I was watching. Like it was just like what the fuck is going on? And then
had you seen the movie prior to watching this show?
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Okay.
Watchmen. Yeah, I've seen.
Okay,
it. That's what I thought.
So long ago, all I remember was a big blue cock. That's all I remember about the movie. Mad blue dick everywhere.
Fuck.
We continued Doughboy's obsession with dicks and cocks, and the only thing that stuck with him out of it was like a 3-hour movie. It was a pretty hefty movie. The only thing he remembers is Dr. Manhattan's
stepping on top of his creation, dick on hard.
Mm-hmm. He just progressively his dick was definitely not hard. He just progressively loses clothing though. Is that the comic as the movie goes on?
I have to watch that movie again because I
have to. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because even after watching this, this has to be.
Is it after the Watchmen?
Really
movie?
Enjoyed this.
So the show itself, it brought there are so many people that had no idea that the bombing of Black Wall Street, like the Tulsa incident, there's so many people that didn't even know that was a thing. Like this speaks to like our American education system and our teaching of our own history, that so many people had no idea that shit had happened. I remember seeing on some Google trends or some Google search trends at that time where they're like, did Tulsa really get bombed? Because people they thought it was just made up for the show. It's like, no, this is how shitty we actually are to each other.
Yeah, it's super fucked up because like the way the way a lot of that shit plays out is just through so this is post-slavery, in between slavery and black African Americans getting civil rights.
Real quick.
They're segregated.
The movie Watchmen. Is it before or after the show? Like when is it?
The show's after the movie.
Okay,
it's like 30 years later.
Right, sorry, go ahead.
And the movie is a little bit different.
Yeah,
because in the movie it's not a squid that he's summoning, because that's the pure comic book stuff. In the movie, it's a bomb or something, right?
Yeah, I'll spoil the movie. Basically the plot of the movie is Rorschach is trying to figure out why these people are getting murdered.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who gets murdered, and when he looks into who this person is, he discovers that it's one of his old colleagues, the comedian. And all their identities are hidden, a lot of them even hidden from themselves, from each other. So like, even though they work together and all that type of shit, Rorschach didn't know that this guy Blake was the comedian. So when he discovers that, oh shit, one of our old buddies, the comedian, got murdered, he starts looking into this. And I think the comedian gets murdered. Night Owl I think, gets murdered. If
Yeah,
I
the
recall correctly.
the original Night Owl gets murdered.
And there's
Um,
somebody else. Somebody else gets murdered. And in trying to uncover what's going on, he basically finds out that it's Ozymandias.
There's an assassination attempt on Ozymandias.
Right. So someone tries to kill Ozymandias as well. And in basically trying to figure out this whole plot, Rorschach discovers Ozymandias is the guy who's behind all of this shit.
Also,
He goes to try to stop him and he fails. What's up, my dude?
Also, Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing the comedian in that show. That was fucking phenomenal. He does such a good job playing just this total piece of shit character with just these this apathy to the world that nothing actually matters. This nihilist joker, basically.
Yeah, I gotta watch the movie because I don't remember that shit.
I gotta
so
watch
long
it
ago.
again. I do not remember it as well.
Yeah, so then basically Ozymandias, the plot is basically Ozymandias kills off a bunch of heroes, and then he also fabricates a story about how Dr. Manhattan is giving people cancer. So then Dr. Manhattan goes to Mars. He exiles himself. He goes to Mars to he don't want to get people sick type of shit. And then he starts to create like these like nuclear bombs or something like that, and he blows up these like nuclear bombs in like a number of cities throughout the world. And the way that it explodes and the radioactive signature, it matches the same type of radioactivity that Dr. Manhattan has. So then what he's basically trying to tell the world is, yo, Dr. Manhattan is no longer like cool with us. He's attacking us now. And the whole goal of this is, in their world, the Cold War continued. It didn't just end. And it got even crazier when now like basically everybody's hands was on the button ready to go. And basically he created an other enemy in the hopes that United States and Russia would like form a coalition to fight Dr. Manhattan. And then that's basically what happens, is that the whole world sort of creates like a world government. They pull their resources together and they stop fighting each other. And all they do is they prepare to fight Dr. Manhattan.
Where the comic differs, because this show is set after the comic rather than the movie.
Yeah.
Is in the comic he summons a big extra dimensional being. But it's a squid monster that he had created, and he summons it into New York. There's a big psionic blast that happens from that.
It kills like 3 million people.
Yeah, and it has the same effect though. It unites the world against a common enemy, because in their mind it's like, oh, there's some kind of extraterrestrial threat that's attacking us. That's why there's the rain of squids and all that.
Yeah, that shit threw me off
in the show.
I was like, what the fuck is this squid rain? I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like that shit. Yeah. And
So
then
I think at this point you might know who Ozymandias is, but I think they might tell you like a pretty strong hint at all if you know the characters. If not, I think they tell you more specifically in like episode 7. But regardless, that's pretty much the plot of the movie. That's like pretty much the plot of what happens prior to this TV show.
All right.
And then the show takes place 30 years later in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And basically, one hint is at the end of the movie, basically Rorschach gets Dr. Manhattan to go and kill Ozymandias to like stop his plan. Ozymandias is like, yo, my plan is already in motion. It's happening right now. And then Dr. Manhattan's like, all right, basically his view is like, well, if it's already happening, that means people are already dying. We can't stop it.
Well,
If this is going to bring the world together, then it works.
Yeah, he looked at the outcome and he was like, well, you're technically right. This is actually saving the world in a way.
Mm-hmm. So then he doesn't kill Ozymandias. And then Rorschach's like, all right, well, if like the world at peace, this isn't worth he's sort of like an absolutist in the sense where he's like, he's not willing to kill one person to save like 1 billion people. he still views the act of killing that person as wrong, and so he wouldn't do it. So then basically he's like, I'm gonna tell the whole world the secret, and it's gonna fuck up your plan. And he basically forces Dr. Manhattan to kill him. So Dr. Manhattan kills Rorschach. And then his journal gets sent, because I think he set this up where basically like
he sent it off before they went to Antarctica. Like he left it with this right-wing conservative news outlet. Like he had dropped it at their door or mailed it to them or something.
Really? That makes sense.
And that's where the 7th Cavalry comes from, is these people that read Rorschach's thing, because in the show I think they cover that his journal, like because it was such a far right fringe group that he left this journal to. Most people didn't believe it because it was coming from these crazy people that were, racist and bigoted, and that was like it would be like if you left it with what is that one, Storm something, those crazy Nazi news organization
or whatever. Yeah, he basically left the journal with the equivalent of like Alex Jones. So then people are like, oh, Alex Jones says like Sandy Hook is a hoax, and UFOs were present, and they're turning the frogs gay, and
lizard people.
The lizard people, and this extra dimensional squid is actually not an extra dimensional squid. It was planted by Ozymandias. So then it's like, all right, in the midst of all that, it's like, what do you really believe? Like, so a lot of people don't believe it, but then you get like these far right racist dudes that do follow this guy into believing this story. And then that's basically how you get the 7th Cavalry, which is this right-wing group of people that are all gun-ho about like the truth of the world, which
that's
is
crazy,
what was in Rorschach's journal.
It makes sense where all their masks come from. It's like, yo, that's the same mask, but the one that Watchmen, the movie, it was all moving and shit. I was like,
it would move.
Yeah, like that's why I was like, damn, I thought he was a good guy. Like, who are these racist dicks? But I guess now it puts it in perspective.
Rorschach was even complicated in the comics. Like his rants were a lot of like anti-liberalism and talking about like he had some issues with women and minorities and things of that nature that were expressed in some of his inner monologues in the comic, and I think they did it a little bit in the movie too.
Yeah. He's basically a sexist and a racist. Not like I'm gonna kill a black man on sight, but like oh, if that happens to that black dude, like he doesn't care, kind of thing. Yeah. Like he views them as lesser, women and minorities.
That's a beast.
The guy's a piece of shit. He's supposed to be a complicated character because he's basically your hero of the comic book. So to speak. Like he's the guy who's trying to uncover all this stuff.
No, the real hero of the comic book is Night Owl, the new Night Owl, who overcomes his ED, and he's able to have sex in the Nightwing or whatever the owl copter or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, he smashed the shit out of that. Not a little hover bullshit.
That thing looks so cool to me. I like the design of that.
That's one of the goofiest parts of the movie is when he like has sex with Silk Spectre, the new Silk Spectre, and like as he's about to like climax, they accidentally hit the flame thing in the little like
shoots the
whatever.
flame.
And there's a flame that shoots out. I was like, come on, man. we got it beforehand. You didn't need to have the flames shoot it out.
Yeah, I know this. I know this sounds bad, but something that really drew me to the show was the fact that they were fighting against racists and like intolerant people, and that like I felt like that was such a good arc in the entire story that I love the fact that I'm watching a lot more shows and it's just black people, African Americans taking the main roles and the secondary main roles and the third main roles, and it's just cool to see that especially HBO taking a chance on these things, because I even recently heard about the Zack Snyder cut. I heard that there was a part with the Green Lantern in there, the new Black Green Lantern, that got cut, but for some reason. But I'm just glad that all these shows that I'm watching, Snowpiercer, Watchmen, they all have like a strong cast of like diverse cultures. Even the Marvel WandaVision agent, the FBI agent, one of my favorite characters, just because he's I loved him.
Was
I
he your
loved everybody.
favorite?
The
Jimmy
Asian
Woo?
guy,
Yeah, my
Yeah,
favorite.
Asian Jim.
Asian Jim. Do
Dude.
you know he forgot that he recorded that scene in The Office?
Yep. Yeah, because he said he was in and out in like an hour. He was like, I totally blanked that I had recorded that.
So
Oh, man.
several
That's a
years
good one.
later, he had people yelling it to him on the street. Yo, he thought it was some sort of slur. And he was like cursing back at people when they yelled it at him. They're like, Asian Jim, Asian Jim. And he looked at them. It's like, fuck you.
That's how small that part was. That he fucking.
I mean, it's like a 1 minute scene, and he wasn't on the show at all. So you could imagine he came in as an extra, probably kind of an unknown actor, recorded a scene, and then just dipped.
Asian Jim.
Isn't he the
Dude,
Maybe I'm
Gwyneth Paltrow forgot that she was in a Spider-Man movie.
No way.
Yeah. 100%. Like there was one, it happened on one of the panels where they were asking her about a Spider-Man movie. She's like, I've never been in a Spider-Man movie. And I think
And they all
what's
looked at her
his name?
shocked.
Tom Holland was like, yeah, you were in this one.
Who is she in Spider-Man? I can't even remember.
Penny Potts.
Oh, that's
Pepper Potts.
right.
Pepper Potts, not-
Pepper
yeah.
Potts. Yeah, she does show up in the
Which movie? With Toby?
Yeah, the
No,
end
no,
of
no.
Homecoming.
the the first Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland.
So
At the end, basically, Tony Stark takes him to go, and he's like, "Yo, you're ready for the big leagues." Basically, inviting Spider-Man into the Avengers. And Pepper Potts is at the news conference, like kind of talking before Spider-Man comes out, and then he basically is like, "Nah, I'm not joining the Avengers," and he dips. So it was just a small scene, but yeah.
wasn't Gwyneth Paltrow married to the Maroon 5 singer?
No, she was married to the Coldplay singer, obviously, Dowie.
Oh, Coldplay. Okay, I got a funny story. My brother worked at a building downtown. He was a concierge or maybe even a porter. Not too sure. But at some point, the guy from Coldplay came down and was like, yo, I need you to help me install a TV on the wall. So my brother was like, all right, I'll make a few bucks. And my brother was like, yo, he tried to have me hold a 65-inch TV to the wall by myself. He's like, when he realized that his TV was about to fall on the ground, he finally helped Michael. And like, he was so pissed off that he had to do like the legwork as well. My brother said that she was super nice, but he was kind of a dick. But that's the way he usually is.
That's the reverse of what I would think. I would think that Gwyneth Paltrow would be the dick and Chris Martin would be like the somewhat nice. He's friends with Simon Pegg. You got to be a good guy if you're friends with Simon Pegg.
Yeah, apparently my brother was like, yeah, that guy was so pissed off that I almost dropped his TV.
Holding a 65-inch by yourself, like who the fuck? Like
Exactly. My brother was like, I don't know why he thought I could hold this TV by myself.
he just looks so strong. Oh man, what a tangent.
No, dude. The race relations, like the whole exploration of that in the Watchmen, fucking phenomenal. So good.
Yeah, I what I thought was super cool, as shitty as it was, is basically all the survivors or of the ancestors of the the ancestors of the people that survived the Tulsa race riots and shit, they got reparations pretty much. They got some kind of money back. They called them Redfordations.
That's a bad term to use. With that kid Topher, he'll come and punch you in the face if you use that.
Don't fuck with
that
Topher,
man said
fuck you up.
that man just flung right across that classroom and was just like,
Yeah, I wasn't.
He was just a blur, dude. I didn't even see him run up on that man. I just saw the table flip over.
that dude was out.
Yeah, I wonder why that was so an offensive term or whatever. But
No, because think about it. The kid asked her, like, "Oh, you built a bakery? Did you get the money with Redfordations?" Basically,
well,
they're like,
sure, that's offensive. I'm not saying basically saying like you didn't work for any of this, you got it for free type of shit. Of course, that's offensive. I'm saying in the car ride home, Topher said he said Redfordation. So like if that term in and of itself was like on par with saying like the N-word or something like that. Like so yeah.
I mean, maybe it's like the Obamacare thing where like that became like the talking point.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the race relations was super. I thought it was very cool, and there's a lot of parallels that play out throughout the show of like kind of reoccurring things that happen in one generation and another generation. Like so Tony, you said you watched episode 6, right? One thing that I love, right, is basically Night, her grandfather was Hood of Justice, right?
Yes.
Right, okay. Because you make a confused face. I think I'm spoiling this shit for you.
No,
you're.
I love that arc as well. That he was a police officer. They warned him. They said, "Beware of the Cyclops." And then I thought that shit was amazing. That he was trying to do the honest work. He literally, legitimately got an honest lead, and they were like, "Okay." They basically, I guess he was a person that was supposed to be, maybe he was like one of the untouchables back in the day, like those people that were just able to fuck shit up. He caught that guy lighting up a Jewish something, a store, right?
Yeah. Did you see, Tony, how that whole arc ended? I'm not sure if they do the whole thing on a single episode, so I don't want to.
That's right.
Like, did they ever show Hood of Justice like going at the Cyclops? Like,
no, I don't think I've seen that.
All right,
it would have been a movie theater with a projector.
Oh yeah.
He shoots a man in his head.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I mean, Tony, man, this fucking guy.
These fucking dogs are going fucking crazy.
So it wasn't so much that the guy was an untouchable, it's that they were recording those brainwashing movies in that guy's meatpacking place.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like this is, he wasn't some kind of like untouchable, like an important person because of the clout or the importance of that role. It was just they were using him to do something, so they were protecting him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I love the parallels where like I love that Night paints her eyes black when she's like donning her mask, and like her grandfather painted his eyes like white. I feel like that dichotomy is supposed to be interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, both they're parallels of each other. They're parallels of each other because, like, there's the face painting that you talked about. Both of their characters are based on movies that they loved as children.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Tony actually knows that yet, but
no. They both became cops, and then they became vigilantes as part of that. Although hers is a little bit complicated because the cops
he was a cop too,
legal vigilantes or whatever.
What?
He was a cop. The grandfather,
bro. Yeah, you slept the whole episode then. Because
I didn't see that in the 6. Is that the ending of 6?
When they give you the flashback, it literally.
Oh, that might have been.
It starts with him getting his badge, and the white man walks by him. The white man does not give him his badge. They have a special black police officer to give the black people their badges.
Yep.
So the white guy refused to shake his hand. The black guy gave him his badge and shook his hand, and told him right away, "Beware of the Cyclops."
That's a rewind at the end then.
No, for sure.
Because I was in the bed, so I might have passed out.
Like you said, sorry, what were you saying, Tony?
I said I was in the bed, so I might have passed out on that. That's like earlier when I told you, like I watched episode 6, like that ending part, it's vague because I might have just fucking passed out and just thought I watched it.
Now, how cool are all the costumes in that damn show though? Because Sister Night, she's got that cool little like nun costume when she's already kicking ass. Looking Glass is probably my favorite character in the show, and his like little like head effect and that little pod that he uses for interrogating people. That shit is so damn cool.
That shit look cool. I like that silver mask. I was like, I always wondered how's he seeing out of it? Like I don't see like you know what I mean. And then there's that white guy.
The same material as like a two-way, like a one-way mirror.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where basically you could see through the mirror from one direction, but the other way is just reflective.
And then that other guy's costume is so fucking cheap and put together. The dude with the red track jacket.
The Red Scare.
He's constantly eating a sandwich, so the rim of his shit is all nasty.
I was like, this guy, if ever was a character in this thing, that would be Ever. For some reason, I don't know why. The track jacket.
I mean, because he's a Russian.
Well, yeah, and he's a Russian.
He's the Red Scare of communism.
I love
Pirate Jenny looks badass.
Yeah, was she black? I couldn't tell. Like,
I think she might be Middle Eastern or something, but I'm not positive, honestly, dude. They never she's one of the ones that never show her face.
They don't develop her at all.
Like Panda, they never really show his face.
That's Doughboy, by the way.
A big part.
Doughboy is Panda in my books. If I had to put a character on somebody, Doughboy. Don't make that face, bitch. That's you, motherfucker. You're a Panda, 100%. Look how tight he is, like a tiger.
The person that everybody hates at the police precinct.
Yeah, nigga wants rules and regulations. Fuck out of here. Give us what we need. That's you. Look at you, tight. P for Panda. It's on your hat.
He's saying that you got that cop killed right at the beginning of the show.
Exactly, yeah. Anyways, I like how they use looking glass to expose what the cavalry is. I like that.
I like the effect on his mask when he's in the pod where you see like the Rorschach like symbols on his mask with the reflections. That shit is so cool.
Yep. Looking Glass is such a good character. Did you see Looking Glass's backstory, Tony?
And that actor is phenomenal. Like that dude from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Who?
I don't know what else he's in though.
From Old Brother, what?
Really seen him in other
he always pops up in weird little roles. He's always like got like these little background roles and things.
What movie you said? Old Boy? What?
No.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
George Clooney and him.
I never seen that movie.
And John Turturro.
I never seen that movie.
Great movie. They showed it at school a few times. That's why
I've never seen it.
In school?
That one's real good. It's basically it's a Depression era retelling of the Odyssey.
Yeah, I might have to. You know what's crazy? I still didn't watch Old Boy yet.
I haven't either because it's not on Netflix, so I have to figure out where to watch it.
I can watch it
Don't
on
give me that bullshit. I literally told you, go into Google and put Old Boy Watch online. The first link, the whole movie's sitting right there.
I'll do that.
That's why you're the panda, though.
That's why you're the panda.
He's fucking tight about that.
Yeah, he's most hurt that I co-signed.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
What do you guys think about Lady Trio? She was one of my favorite characters.
She's interesting, man.
Who's that one again?
Lady
I'm not good with the names.
Her name is True. She's they didn't develop her too much yet at where you are.
Oh, okay.
But it's the Asian lady that's building the clock. She said it's the first wonder of the new world.
Oh, she's a hero?
It's not a hero.
She's a really smart, very smart. Nobody's a true superhero except for Dr. Manhattan in this show. Everybody's just like kicks ass.
Is he gonna pop up eventually again? Like, I mean, he was in the show, like in the TV screen in the show, but like,
you're asking if Dr. Manhattan makes an appearance in the show.
We're gonna have to spoil it for you if we're gonna discuss that. If you,
let's not.
He makes an appearance. Yes, he shows up.
All right, I'll just finish it off today. I'll go grab lunch and finish it off today.
That shit is, I can't wait.
I'm down. I'm down with us spoiling it just so we can do this like a one and done Watchmen podcast. We're not
spoil it
between two episodes.
I'm gonna watch it regardless.
But I don't want to like. I don't know. It's up to y'all that haven't finished the show yet.
Wait, who? I'm the only one that hasn't finished it.
Yeah,
we can.
So then go
recap the end on the next episode.
Nah, kill it. Kill it. I'm gonna watch it either way.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna tell you the big secret. Cal is Dr. Manhattan.
What?
Yeah, he found out that he was because Manhattan is this crazy character that he experiences all of time at the same time.
Yeah.
He knew that he was destined to fall in love with what's her name? Angela?
Yeah.
Angela. Yeah. So he goes and he finds her at this bar in Vietnam, and he's like, we're gonna fall in love and we're gonna date for 10 years and we're gonna have the happiest relationship of our lives. He's like, and then I'm gonna die. And he basically like he tells the whole thing. She's like, yeah, whatever.
Very smooth, very smoothly at a bar. He kind of like he does his thing.
And
I
she's
love the name of the episode too. It's called "A God Walks into a Bar." Because her last name is A-Bar.
Name is A-Bar, yeah.
I thought it was cool.
And he shows up and he's wearing his suit and he's wearing a plastic mask of Dr. Manhattan's face. And it's during this festival to Dr. Manhattan. So he's in disguise as himself.
That's funny.
at this festival. And she's like, whatever, you're full of shit, whatever. So anyway, they end up dating, and he reveals himself to actually be her, or to actually be him, to be Dr. Manhattan. But he starts doing the same thing from the movie, where he is losing touch with humanity because Dr. Manhattan exists everywhere and nowhere all at once. So it's tough for him to not be distracted. So I think he talks to Ozymandias, right? And Ozymandias makes gives him this ring that if he inserts it inside of himself, it will give him amnesia and suppress his powers, basically.
This is before he sends Ozymandias to the Europa, which is currently where you're seeing these babies come out of the water, and he puts them in a cooker and they become like a human. This is Europa.
It's Dr. Manhattan, basically in between this show and the Watchmen, he decided to go and make life. He wanted to go and make life on another planet.
I think it's a moon of Jupiter or some shit like that.
Yeah. So he gets this ring. He puts it in his head, and then they start over again. Him and Angela. Except now he is this man that was in this car accident, and he has amnesia, and they are fiancés, and they're going to get married. So he doesn't remember that he's Dr. Manhattan until I think she cuts it out of his head or something, right? Or doesn't she shoot him or something?
She bangs his face with a hammer and then just pulls it out.
Yeah, it's brutal, and it caught me off guard. I figured Dr. Manhattan was going to make an appearance in the show, but I was not prepared for it to be Cal.
I suspected it was Cal pretty
They
early.
allude to it a few times. Remember the White Knight, the guy standing over her with the shotgun? She kills one, but then there's another guy who's standing over her with the shotgun, and then it kind of just fades to black.
Yeah, it fades to black. You don't know what happened.
Yeah, you're like, what happened? Apparently, he at that moment remembered he was Dr. Manhattan, and a moment of critical, and he sent that guy to somewhere really far away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he
sends him to Gila Flats,
wasn't it the senator or somebody that the senator knew?
No, I think it's just some random 7th Cavalry dude.
It's just some random grunt. He basically calls the 7th Cavalry, and he's like, "Yo, I'm in Gila Flats," and they're like, "I just saw you 15 minutes ago." He's like, "Yeah, I just teleported here." And then that's when the 7th Cavalry suspects that Cal is Dr. Manhattan.
Yep.
So yeah.
That shit throws me off now, because I guess how the fuck?
The police chief was also a 7th Cavalry member.
I suspected that as soon as they killed him in that tree, hung him in the tree, I suspected that he was already a part of the fucking thing, and he was gonna. In that episode, that he was gonna meet up with one of those 7 Cavalry dudes, because he was like, oh, yeah, I'll go with the police thing, and they're like, y'all stay here, I'm out. I'm like, oh, this nigga's a fucking scumbag. I already knew at that point that he's a fucking racist bitch in the show. He's trying to play both sides and shit. That's how I knew that was going down like that.
No, I do. This is my favorite version of Dr. Manhattan that I've seen so far.
Yes.
Because in the movie, he's kind of a dick. Dr. Manhattan's kind of a dick. He's just lost the ability to feel humanity. So I thought it was kind of cool in that regard. It is I like the way that they talk about eternalism. I don't know if you guys have looked into eternalism at all. It's this time philosophy, basically, that all time is happening at once. It's very much how Dr. Manhattan actually experiences time. And it gives me these Vonnegut vibes. Was that number 3?
A Vonnegut?
Kurt Vonnegut, the author. His one of his books is Slaughterhouse-Five, and it's about this guy that he becomes untethered in time, basically. So he starts experiencing different points of his life out of order because he's just untethered in time, and that's always how I don't know. That's how I thought about Dr. Manhattan. It's a weird way to be. I always liked in the movies when they were when he was telling his stories, it's January 4th, 1963, and I am at the carnival, and then the next one is he's experiencing 1980 something, and then it goes back to I love that the way they always presented that.
That's like a mind fuck, dude. Could you imagine being him, being everywhere but nowhere at the same time. That shit is fuck, dude. I would have blown
There's
myself.
there's a whole thing in this.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There's a whole thing in this show where he has a conversation simultaneously with Angela and also with her grandfather in like 20 decades apart.
That is beast.
That was so cool.
And it creates this whole paradox where the reason that he knows that Manhattan exists is because Angela told him through Manhattan that Manhattan exists 20 years prior or something like that. Like it's
basically the way this happens is Dr. Manhattan meets Angela. He falls in love with her. But then I guess he discovers that she has a grandfather. And then because he's pretty much all-knowing, he knows that Angela's going to need her grandfather in order to survive, pretty much. So then he goes to the grandfather and explains that he's Dr. Manhattan, that he has a granddaughter, and he explains this whole like thing to him to basically get him to buy into some plan. We never really see that plan in action. We see it in action. We don't know the specifics, the discussion that they had pertaining to that plan. But in the middle of that conversation, because he experiences all time in a single moment, right? He's always experiencing his whole life all the time. In one conversation he's having with Angela, he tells her, "Yeah, I'm talking to your dad right now." But he's talking to her dad or to her grandfather 20 years ago. And then Angela asks, "Can you ask him how he knows? How did he know that Judd was a 7th Cavalry? How did he know that Judd had a clan outfit in his closet?" And then when Dr. Manhattan asks the grandfather that question, that's when the grandfather learns that Judd is a 7th Cavalry and that Judd has the clan outfit in his closet. He didn't actually know until Dr. Manhattan asked him the question. Oh my
God, that's beast.
So the only reason that the grandfather came to the town and killed Judd is because Angela asked her grandfather why she killed Judd. So then he had the moment of, whoa, this is a chicken and the egg. Like, this is it kind of thing. This is a contradiction, which doesn't make any sense at all, to be honest. It's, again, part of the thing with time of how it doesn't really, like the paradox type of thing. But I don't know. That scene was very cool. Have you guys watched this movie, Arrival?
Mm-mm.
Oh, my God. You guys should watch Arrival.
Arrival?
Yeah, it's basically some aliens come to Earth in these like giant pods, and there's like 14 of them or something, and they show up in 14 places around the world.
Is that the Natalie Portman one?
Nah.
That's what I was thinking.
Female main character. You may be confusing her with Natalie Portman. I heard
Amy Adams.
It's Amy Adams.
Okay.
And she's a linguist. Like she studies like language and shit. And then she basically goes in and she tries to communicate with these aliens to try to figure out what is it that they want. But because there's 14 of these, or there's 7 of these things throughout the world, all these different nations are dealing with this in different ways. Like the Chinese are like ready to start attacking these things because they're like, we don't know what they want. But seemingly they're not violent. They just appeared. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's super fascinating movie that gets into how we experience time at some point in the movie. And I think getting confused about Arrival could maybe help you, because the movie's confusing. Like watching that movie and getting confused in the plot of it could maybe help you understand how Dr. Manhattan experiences time. It's a really cool movie. I really enjoyed it. It's a Denis Villeneuve movie. So the guy who made Blade Runner 2049, he made that movie Prisoners. He's making the Dune movie. So the same guy, he made Arrival.
That Dune really does look pretty good.
I'm fucking hyped to watch Dune, yo.
When does it drop?
Dune, it's coming
sometime
out
this year, I think, right?
HBO Max. I really want to say it's in like summertime, but I don't remember. It's October 1st. Max, yo. It's coming straight to HBO Max, which is gonna be fucking nuts. That a movie's gonna just, who knows? Maybe they'll change the plan because there's no fucking pandemic anymore in October.
The pandemic's already over, dude. We're done with it here in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, Florida never even started a pandemic. We just been living our lives. So,
And New York feels like it's on extra lockdown.
yeah.
Yeah, they still haven't moved the time back for the what time the bars close. But I'm gonna be honest, it looks like New York is gonna create cinema this summer up here. The way that people are acting, the way that people are behaving, like dudes, people they're just not in the right mind. They just need to make mistakes, it seems like. So it just seems like as soon as the heat comes out in New York, it's gonna just get turned up in all sorts of ways. But it looks fun.
No, I
They're gonna make
Yeah, I
definitely.
mean, I just
cinema?
saw. I think he means like it's gonna be like a movie, like how crazy it's gonna be. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
Mm.
And basically, in New York, the way shit goes is everybody just lives their lives. They're working and whatever. They're miserable because of cold, and then as soon as it's even warm enough to do anything outside, the blocks just get hot. Like everybody's out on the streets. Everybody's doing barbecues and playing music and popping the fucking fire hydrants to like play in the street, and it's just all the blocks are just filled with everybody. And you could only imagine that if the pandemic started at different timing, it could have been really bad where everybody was just hitting the streets because they don't give a fuck because it's too hot. New York is a very old place, right? Where everything was built like 100 years ago. So
Mhm.
that means none of these buildings have air conditioning really. It's all fucking hot all the time. Like you have window units, like that's really the only form of like real air conditioning that most buildings in New York City have. And it's just because it's just too old. So that just means that New York is just miserably hot in the summer. Anywhere you go, there's not much air conditioning occurring. Unlike Florida, which is like hot, but because it's been hot forever, when they built these things, they're like, all right, we need some type of way to cool. So air conditioning is like a staple in Florida. There's nowhere you're gonna go that's gonna be like, there's no way to keep this. There's a central air, like every fucking room and every fucking house has a constant vent, like cooling your house. Where in New York, it's like when it's summertime, you're just fucking miserable from 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m. until it gets cool at night.
It's
Like,
funny. You could even go on Billionaires Row on Park Avenue, the most expensive zip code in America, or maybe even in the world. And some of these, but they're really old buildings, they all have like huge window units on it. Like they still don't have like the proper ventilation to do like what is that called when you have like AC by like you just set the dial and stuff
Central
like
Central
that.
air.
Central
it's a
air.
central air.
Yeah, there's no central air in any of these buildings. It's just AC units.
That's wild.
Yeah.